Very recently, I saw this comment on one of my videos from a subscriber.
Very nice hotels are getting ruined by stinking dogs. I have noticed this over the last couple of years. Elevators and halls stink like dogs. This makes cleaning harder. We are all going to pay for this.
To say that dogs ruin things would be an understatement. They really do ruin absolutely everything, and that is not hyperbole. It's no exaggeration. The more things dogs come into contact with, the greater the list of things ruined by dogs becomes. Dogs destroy things, both in a literal physical sense and in every other sense of the word. Otherwise lovely neighborhoods, parks, restaurants, hotels, and hiking trails or preserves. These have become overrun with these pestilential predators. In recent years, add these to the list of things people can no longer enjoy because of dogs and the lunatics who take them to those spaces against the better judgment they clearly do not possess. Remember, folks, dogs are a nuisance at best and a needless hazard at worst. On another forum, someone asked me if I have hatred or contempt for dogs, to which I responded with, yes, both. The comment I received back was as follows. Why is that? I understand some people do not like having dogs as pets, but yours seems to be another level. I answered simply, because dogs make life hell for people who never chose to own one. While what I said there is very true, the presence of dogs affects not only those who never chose to interact with dogs, which is bad enough, but also those who do.
What follows is a post from r/dog training. It is titled, "My dog is destroying everything, including my life, at my wit's end." The poster describes a persistently destructive Australian Shepherd, which insists on chewing things up, whether it is in the house or in the yard, and whether it is a plastic bucket or a valuable item. This the dog does despite getting tons of exercise and stimulation, in addition to having lots of toys and, to quote the poster, the run of the yard.
No, he's not bored, and no, he's not deprived of chews. He is seemingly destructive just because he wants to be. Every morning, he gets minimum 1 hour of exercise. Fetch, but also running, and some kind of mind game. A lot of times I will take him out for a hike, and typically do rough and difficult straining terrain and paths. This dog is dead tired by the end of either routine. He's then left alone for around 5 hours. He has the run of the yard and tons of toys. In the evening, the dog gets longer playtime, and often I take him for a hike, usually for 3 to 4 hours. It may seem like a lot, but it's a hobby, and even if I'm off work at 9, I'll take him for one, albeit a shorter one. But this dog is destroying everything. Even if left alone for 30 minutes, as soon as you're gone, he's tearing anything and everything up. He has wrecked the backyard, destroyed precious toys, and eaten valuables. It does not matter how much you exercise this dog. As soon as you are gone, he's tearing things up and ruining everything in his path. He has a million toys, chews, anything to keep him occupied, but he would rather chew up a plastic bucket than his toys. I'm at my wit's end. I'm about ready to rehome him. I can't take it anymore. Thing is, he is well trained, knows a hefty amount of tricks, and is a polite dog. But this one flaw is making me lose my mind. If no one's watching, this damn dog is destroying something. Inside or outside, there's no stop to it. What can I do?
This is one of many examples of how dog owners will often admit, often whilst begging the internet for help, that their dogs are rubbish, basically. In this particular case, the owner claims that, besides destroying everything in its path, this dog is not causing problems. I find that difficult to believe, but even if this were the only issue, it is a pretty major one. Also, it would be a major no-go for anyone with an ounce of sanity. Imagine diligently training this beast, and even letting it get hours of daily exercise, which are both purported solutions to such issues, only for it to still insist on wrecking everything in its path. And remember, that's not me talking. That's the owner.
It does not matter how much you exercise this dog. As soon as you are gone, he's tearing things up and ruining everything in his path.
If you look up destructive behavior in dogs, you will encounter a ridiculous amount of excuses for this shit. Everything from boredom and separation anxiety to lack of exercise and anxiety. But this particular dog sounds like it has an owner that bends over backwards to give it everything it could possibly need, and yet it still exhibits this form of mindless destruction. Notice how instinctual behavior is actually listed here. Now that is one of the times where a broken clock is right 2 times a day. Personally, I think this falls under aggression. If a person were bent on wrecking things, we certainly would not say that they were passive. And dog-originated aggression is indeed an instinctual behavior, which, of course, has not stopped hordes of dog fanatics from insisting that dogs learn all their shit behaviors from us somehow. Well, not us, but humans in general, namely dog owners, I suppose. Explain a feral pack then, dog nutter. An older video I did was titled Bitter Truth, Dog Owners Hate Dogs Too, with receipts. In that video, and it is not the only one like it, I compiled several posts I found on Quora of people who were either dog owners at the time of posting or who owned dogs in the past. Many of them made it clear they did not enjoy the experience of owning one of these things, and several straight up said they hate dogs. A case that stood out to me was one from a bloke who said he hates this particular dog and wishes he could send it back to the place where he got it, except that his wife insists on keeping it. This beast he described as some dreadful cross between a Chihuahua and a Terrier, which definitely sounds like a nightmare. He described this thing as untrainable and outlined how the dog would, despite its tiny size, even coupled with the fact it lives in a fairly sizable house, love to stay in the middle of hallways and entryways, in everyone's way for no fucking reason.
He's always in the way. He doesn't understand that he's small and has no sense of space. We have a good-sized house, kind of on the small size, but big enough for a family of 4 with 2 small kids and a small dog. He'll just stay in the middle of hallways and entryways, and if anyone gets close, not even touching him, he'll just yelp. We tell him to go, but he'll just lie on his back, not budging. We have to pick him up to move him out of the way, but minutes later, he'll just go back. Enough times doing this, he'll start to growl and bite.
This person makes it a point to say that this is the only dog he considers untrainable. But I myself know several family members or former acquaintances who have had equally frustrating experiences with dogs that are total shit and simply ungovernable. One of them was even a puppy. And keep in mind that these reports are coming from people who actually want to be around dogs and who think they have the patience required to spend all the time that's needed to psychologically manipulate these barking gluttons, to mold them into more acceptable pets than they would be if left to their own devices. There are expenses associated with dogs as well, and frankly, I could make a video showing abundant examples of people who've come in contact with dogs, talking about how terrible those experiences are, and spend hours and hours on the subject. I wouldn't even have to go to Dog Free, which does include a lot of former dog owners and people forced to live with dogs, but I could even just stick with Quora, Tales from the Doghouse, or various dog training forums. It's the strangest thing too, because people constantly showcase how awful these vermin truly are. Just refer to the myriad anti-dog videos on TikTok and elsewhere across the web. And by the way, these are not intended to be anti-dog videos, but they serve that purpose all the same.
Collaboration with Harbor Branch Oceanographic Institute. Things like very high levels of mercury in dolphins. Nearly 300 miles up.
But what really concerns me is the way dogs affect those of us who would prefer to never once encounter a dog, or even hear or smell one, as long as we live. Dog owners are the ones forcing us to come into contact with these critters, and they are the sole reason we cannot seem to avoid their presence and all the social ills that come with their ownership as well. And, for that matter, we would love it if we likewise never had to encounter reminders of dogs or any evidence of their existence. Unfortunately, however, it is all around us. Many of us have lived in areas where dog excrement is seldom picked up, and where the sound of all their noxious noises is inescapable, and where intrusions or sudden attacks by off-leash dogs are a very likely possibility, even an inevitability.
Then, there are things like this. People are regularly inconvenienced, even injured or made ill, by dogs, and sometimes in unexpected ways. Here's one example. A subscriber reports having broken his foot while running away from a dog that chased him while he was out for a jog. Dogs are the only animals we have to worry about attacks from, and many other issues, in towns and cities. They are the only living creatures in most human settlements, period, that make it unsafe or unwise to go out to engage in ordinary, daily activities like commuting, exercising, or working outdoors as part of one's employment. Injuries like these are long-lasting and life-altering, and sometimes permanent. Many of us have gotten bitten out of nowhere, or we've been menaced and lunged at by these gremlins. Or we've had our personal space encroached upon suddenly by a random mutt. Many of us have had to step around a nasty pile of excrement, left by a dog. Hell, I recall an incident where I literally had to walk in the street to completely avoid a part of the sidewalk where a massive swarm of flies were congregating and buzzing about, all because of a pile of dog shit. But no one thinks about all their indirect effects on us, or anomalous injuries such as the one detailed in this post. And come to think of it, it isn't that difficult to get hurt just fleeing from an attacking dog. These are the hidden costs of dog ownership, and some not so hidden, or rather, they are completely disregarded, and often never once considered, by those who wish to introduce this dangerous variable into the lives of others around them. And on second thought, I don't believe even things like sustaining some kind of injury due to having to flee from a fucking dog in the street, or some other place it shouldn't be, is all that anomalous. If anything, such incidents are likely highly underreported. The sheer amount of cases relating to various problems caused solely and uniquely by dogs, or some aspect of their ownership, and no other factor, is truly staggering. A lot of it is self-reported, much of it is caught on camera, and much more of it happens when very few people are around to see it. Dog owners themselves are not likely to report every time their own dogs attack them, and they'll likely not focus too much on how shit their pet of choice is. But often enough, it is bad enough that there is a great deal of self-telling going on there as well. In point of fact, I am constantly receiving reports from subscribers and commenters in general about awful experiences involving dogs and dog owners. Everything from aggravations and assaults or other attacks to inconveniences, injuries, and illnesses. Dog apologists want to lie to us and gaslight us about our own experiences. They would have people believe that these incidents are not all that common, but they're actually a daily, worldwide occurrence.
Still no signs of intelligent life. They tell us touch grass, but it's all caked in shit. And the urine is in almost every blade of it. They say we must have gotten bit as kids. And the crazy thing is, it would make sense to hate dogs for that same reason. And they think it's way funny, you wish they were out of season. There's still no signs of intelligent life. They ask who hurt us, and the funny thing is, they know that the answer is this. Dogs and their enabling owners, they hold on to fables, these pathetic loners, easily sold on a fiction. It's inane and rose, the way the last one showed himself to be insane when he rose. Still no signs of intelligent life. No signs of intelligent life. No intelligent life. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. They lie and say that dogs need to be provoked to bite and maim, but that's not even been shown to happen in a single case that we've seen. What a joke. Dogs attack sleeping people and folks going out for a smoke, or even those on a stroll seeking babies and strollers and adults on their own property. So what you told us, it's bull and baloney. Basically When I was 13, I used to ride my bike. I can't imagine doing that today at that age. Still no signs of intelligent life.